Howdy, y'all. Welcome back. It's the weekly wrap-up for October 22nd, 2021. I'm Raymond Dahlman, your humble host here at DSA Financial Group. And I hope everyone had a fantastic week. The Astros have done very well this week. We're a game away. I say we. They are a game away from the World Series. So fingers crossed. Got my lucky Astros shirt on. So as soon as I'm finished with this, I'm going to run into town, get some vittles for the game tonight, and park my butt on the couch. So a little disappointed in the Braves last night. They had an opportunity to knock the Dodgers out of the playoffs, but it looks like it's going to go back to Atlanta for a game 6. So should be exciting. So definitely a interesting week in the world. Seems like there's still a lot of fighting about politics, and the markets have they've been pretty good this week, but just a lot of turmoil and a lot of arguing about spending bills and things like that. So I personally don't think any of that stuff will ever get pushed through. So again, fingers crossed. Let's hope I don't get robbed anymore for stupid government projects. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and let me share my screen so you can see what I am going to talk about today. All righty. Well, actually, let's first look at how the market did this week. Sorry, got a little ahead of myself. All right, so let's set this to 1 week. All right, the Dow Jones this week looks like it was up about 1.10%, 1.10. The S&P 500 up 1.82. The NASDAQ kind of lagged today a little bit, up about 1.5%. Dow Utilities up 3.5%. That's wow. And the Dow Transports up about 3.63, 3.7, somewhere around there. So all in all, for the U.S. indexes, things look pretty good. I would imagine that, let me look at some international and see how they did this week. They look like they were up. So I would imagine that across the board, most equities are up pretty positive. So let's go ahead and switch out so we can take a look and see. Last week, I was talking about how this trend was, continuing down. Did break through here on, what day was that? The 14th. So about a week ago, it looks like it pushed up through there. And so we'll see, is this forming a head and shoulders chart pattern? For those who haven't done any charting in their life, just, go to Google and look up head and shoulders chart, stock chart, and it'll show you how it forms a little, looks like a head and shoulders. Typically, that's a sign that the market is changing direction, which, based on what's going on right now, I would assume, and also looking at the momentum indicator, looks like things have been heading down. It did cross back up here again slightly, so we'll see. I don't try to guess where things are going, but I try to rely on what the trends are telling me. So, all right. So U.S. Jobless claims this week came in at 290,000. Forecast was 300,000. Let's look at last week's numbers. They were revised up from 293 to 296, still well below what the forecast was. So that is certainly good news. Continuing jobless claims came in at 2.481 million, and the forecast was 2.55 million. And let's look at last week's 2593 was revised up to 2603. Again, still below the forecast of 2675. So, from a employment perspective, things are certainly looking better. In some of the charts that I share with clients in meetings, there's still some major problems, mainly that the gap between employed Americans from, let's say, January of 2020 to now, it's still a pretty wide gap. So until that gets closed, I'm not really going to feel real good about the employment situation here in the United States. All right. Some of the charts for the stats that came out this week. First one is U.S. industrial production year over year. Came in at 4.6% for this month. Last month was 5.66. You can see here on the chart, God, quit jumping around. how the production has been slowly trending back down, but we were coming off some severe lows where it was in the red. So it looks like it kind of sprung up way above, and it looks like it's starting to normalize. So if we again look back here, 3.5%, 4.5% was fairly typical. So if it levels off in that 3 to 5 range over the next couple of months, I say that looks pretty good. U.S. housing starts were reported on the 19th, came in at 1.555 million against a forecast of 1.62. So just slightly off. Last month's numbers were revised down, actually, from 1.615 to 1.580. Still above what the forecast was, but it was revised down. But all in all, it looks like here, the trend is fairly stable at the moment, so we'll see where that goes. U.S. existing home sales came in at 6.29 million against a forecast of 6.09. Again, it looks like we had a nice little jump here in for the, I guess that would probably be September or into October's numbers. So again, that looks pretty good. Existing homes, I can just speak for my little part of the world here. Our little community probably has, 200-300 lots in it. Each one's an acre. So, I think there's maybe one home for sale, maybe 5 or 6 that are in a pending status. Homes just, get snapped up really fast out here. So, I guess the good news, if I ever want to sell my house, which has doubled in price in 5 years, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. So the problem is then I have to go find somewhere else to live, and home values have gone up just about everywhere. So either way, I'm kind of stuck. So the only way I'm leaving this little slice of paradise is if I can find like 50 acres or higher and, an hour away from anywhere. So that would be perfect for me. So, all right. And I had one article that I did want to cover with everyone. This, where'd it go? Back. All right, here we are. This came from, I saw it on USA Today. Their Facebook page had an article that was talking about electric cars versus traditional combustion engines. And this article comes from the Detroit Free Press, written by Jamie L. LaRue. So going to take a couple of minutes, go through this. I don't know what your thoughts are on electric vehicles, but there's definitely some interesting information in here. So, all right. Starting out, last year, Patrick Anderson went electric. He got a Porsche Taycan EV in dark blue. Anderson, who is CEO of East Lansing-based economic consulting firm Anderson Economic Group, loves the zippy acceleration and exciting features the car offers. He also gets satisfaction in knowing that driving an EV benefits the environment, he said. But Anderson's joy comes with a dark side. They are a wonderful driving experience, but at the same time, they're an enormous burden in time and energy in finding chargers and getting them charged, Anderson said. And you're not really saving much in terms of charging costs. You may be paying more. Costs to drive an EV compared to with a gasoline car are detailed in a report Anderson Economic released Thursday called Comparison Real World Costs of Fueling EVs and ICE vehicles. The study has 4 major findings. First, there are 4 additional costs to powering EV beyond electricity: cost of a home charger, commercial charging, the EV tax, and deadhead miles. For now, EVs cost more to power than gasoline costs to fuel an internal combustion engine that gets reasonable gas mileage. Not my truck. Charging costs vary more widely than gasoline prices. There are significant time costs to finding reliable public chargers. Even then, a charger could take 30 minutes to go from 20% to 80% charge. In the first series of reports Anderson Economic Group will release, it started the project, an independent report, more than 6 months ago. Anderson has worked with the auto industry for 20 years, and given the industry's transition to EVs, the group decided to do the studies to assess the likelihood consumers will adopt the cars. General Motors and Ford Motor Company are banking on such a switch. Both are investing tens of billions of dollars to go all electric in the next 2 decades. GM has promised to double its revenues largely on the backs of new EVs. Part of the strength of the analysis is we're showing real world costs that EV drivers face. Anderson said, you typically have to go to a commercial charger, and commercial charger rates are 2 or 3 or 4 times that of residential charger rates. Then there's the time to drive around and find a commercial charger, time that Anderson dubs deadhead miles. Even charging at home on a level 1 or level 2 charger is time consuming and expensive. The study found that the average cost of a level 1 charger is $600. To install a level 2 charger costs $1,600 because it requires hiring an electrician. An L1 charger uses a 120 volt supply of electricity and can take 20 or more hours to charge, whereas an L2 chargers use 240 volts and can charge in a few hours. Real cost to charge up. Anderson's report considers 4 costs that, beyond the costs of residential electricity when calculating how much it costs to drive an EV. Cost of the residential charger, cost of commercial electricity, an annual EV tax, which in Michigan ranges from $135 to $235, depending on the vehicle model. This is to make up for not paying a gas tax. How nice. Deadhead miles to get to a fast charger. Given all that, the conclusion is that EVs cost more to fuel than gasoline cars that get reasonable gas mileage, Anderson said, and it all depends on how the car is used and how much commercial charging is involved. A mid-priced internal combustion car that gets 33 miles per gallon would cost $8.58 in overall cost to drive 100 miles at $2.81 a gallon, the study found. But a mid-priced EV, such as a Chevrolet Bolt, Nissan Leaf, or a Tesla Model 3 would cost $12.95 to drive 100 miles. In terms of costs that include recharging the vehicle using mostly a commercial charger. On a yearly basis, assuming mid-price cars travel 12,000 miles, it would cost $1,030 to drive an internal combustion car and $1,554 to drive an EV. For luxury cars that get 26 miles per gallon and using premium gas at 3.25 a gallon, the cost to drive an internal combustion car 100 miles is $12.60. The cost to drive a luxury EV, such as a Taycan, Tesla Model S or X, or Jaguar I-Pace or Jaguar, is $15.52 to travel 100 miles. That is using mostly commercial charges. That's apples to apples and includes the extra EV taxes, the commercial charging, and the home charging, and the allowance of driving to a gas station, which for most Americans is very short compared to driving to a commercial charger for an EV owner. So there's a little bit more here. So, but I thought that was quite interesting that the costs to run and maintain a full electric car is still running higher than your traditional gas or diesel vehicles. So that is certainly some interesting things. And I remember when the Teslas came out or were first, I guess, just on the interwebs, and you could look at them and kind of design them. And I remember thinking they were really cool because they have the automatic pilot and a lot of cool features. And if you're just tooling around, at the time I was living in Houston, I was like, wow, this would be great. An electric car, just plug it in. I only at the time was driving maybe less than 5 miles to and from my office. So, I thought it was a great idea, but, living out in the middle of nowhere, I don't know if that's necessarily the best option. And, so like I said, I'm just, I think electric may be the way to go down the road once we get the, electric, the charging solution. But as long as you're using petroleum products to create the electricity to, charge up your vehicle, I just see that as being a lose-lose. I personally would like to see little nuclear reactors in everyone's backyard, and that spins a little turbine and boom, free electricity that runs for years. You would have to replace the core every so often, but outside of that, as long as it has proper shielding, and from what I understand, I'm not an expert on nuclear power. My son is. He runs a reactor on a submarine. But anyways, as far as I know, it's very clean, and I'm really unsure why those on the left are so opposed to it. So, anyways, all right. Well, that is everything that I had for today. So be sure to like, subscribe. I got to remember to say that at the beginning because most of y'all don't even probably watch to the very end. So please like, subscribe, and share with friends and family. And if anyone needs anything from me over the weekend, just shoot me an email. give me a call, leave a voicemail. I'll get right back to you if the house is on fire or it's an emergency. If it's not an emergency, I'll get back to you on Monday morning. So, but like I said, hope everyone has a great weekend. Let's cross our fingers and hope for a lot of offense from the Astros this evening. Game starts at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 Central. And again, hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.